What's going on, Purple People podcast fans? Welcome to this week's show. It is Monday, November 30th, 2020. My name's Kyle Smith, and I'm joined by Adam Carlson.
How's it going, guys? I'm here again. Episode 417 this week. It seems like that gets bigger and bigger every week.
It's just weird. Even weird for you guys had a year and a half extra than I did, so must feel like a long trip for you guys as well. Kyle West is with us too. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man. Skol, Minnesota Vikings. We were ready to talk about some football this week. It was a nail-biter of a win, but hey, a victory is a victory, so we're going to take it.
Yeah, that was a weird win. I didn't get to see the second half, which is where a lot of the fun action happened, but we're going to get to talk about it here soon. We're going to give away some game balls and donkeys. We're trying out some new stuff today, guys. We are very excited about it. We are now linked live through our YouTube channel, which we've always had, but we have additions of Facebook and Twitch as well. Both of those are at Purple People Podcast. So you should check us out on those respective ones as well. It's another way that you can get all of this cool podcasting stuff that we're attempting to do here on the channel, but we are super excited about that.
I will say right now, I think that we're having a couple issues with our Twitch channel, so maybe that won't be up and running today. But hopefully we'll get that figured out so we can have that available for people on the go.
I wonder if the Facebook is working.
That's what I was going to check next.
I'm on the app right now, but we'll get there. I don't see anything.
While we're working on it, Kyle Smith, that looks like a Minnesota Vikings themed hockey jersey.
Yeah, I have the microphone strategically placed so you don't see the big 14 because this is my Diggs one that I bought last year.
It's like I was telling Smith, I got nothing against Diggs. He played well in Minnesota, gave us a fantastic moment, and then he gave us some draft picks that turned into some players that are probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we got Justin Jefferson out of it. I really like the hockey-themed Vikings jersey. That's actually really cool.
Sergio Moreno says, Skull, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining in. Then thanks, Kyle. I enjoy this a lot. Almost as good as my John Pandel jersey that I got from Korea that was misspelled that I'm never going to change it.
And I do see that I was right. They've got the little branding in the bottom right corner. I see Sergio is watching us on YouTube.
Awesome.
Glad you joined in, Sergio. If you guys are watching and you want to chime in like Viking Jerome here, let's get it going, man. This was a weird game. The Vikings defeated the Carolina Panthers in US Bank Stadium yesterday, 28-27. It was a nail biter, and it was off of a missed field goal. That's where the title comes from, American Slye, because the Panthers kicker, Joey Slye, missed a field goal, and he was apparently, according to the commentators, booting them through pregame warm-ups from that distance. So it sucks for them.
He gets my game ball for missing that field goal. Thank you. Spoiler alert.
I'm also not seeing us live on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either.
I don't see that either, so we got a little bit of behind.
Yeah, we got some work to do, but we were trying to throw that together last minute. So I guess it's kind of a little bit of a surprise that we will be on Facebook and we will be on Twitch in the future, but right now it's not seeming to do what we wanted to do.
I feel your pain, Sergio. I only caught the first half of the game back here in Nashville. I'm working at the airport. I am on the 9 to 5 schedule right now, and it is it's really weird. I usually go in very early, so I had to miss part of the game, so had to sneakily check my phone, and I was like, holy crap, the Vikings won? This never happens. This is the game we give away or lose, on a heartbreaker somewhere, but we were the recipient this time.
The first half of the game really wasn't that thrilling if you're a Vikings fan. The first drive went down. That was good. And then after that, it was a lot of stagnation. Minnesota wasn't moving the ball well at all, and Carolina was doing some work on the ground, but they couldn't get anything going through the air.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater started out very shaky in the game, and then he came up with some really nice throws at the end. We love Teddy here at the Purple People Podcast.
If you're on Vikings Twitter, you definitely saw that not all Vikings fans love Teddy Bridgewater still. So, yeah, there was a lot of Bridgewater hate going on.
There's nothing to hate about that kid. I despise the internet and most human beings. You can't hate the kid. He's such a nice guy, and he's great for the community too.
So true, so true.
Skull Prod, we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I hear they might let fans in the parking lot to tailgate. That's pretty cool. I didn't hear that. That was a joke.
Odds of the Vikings going are up to 30%. So
where's the Super Bowl this year? I forgot.
I have no idea.
I never really pay attention to that.
What's up, Scott Schwab? He is a regular here on the show as well as Skull Prod. Ronnie Hippie asks, what position do you think our first draft pick will be next year? We said this recently, Ronnie. I don't know if you joined in or not, but we're all thinking corner because of the Mike Hughes situation and just the lack of depth. It could be safety. I think Anthony Harris is gone. We could always use a lineman. I mean, pick your poison, man.
Could be a future quarterback. I mean, the options are really crazy because you can't really even discount a defensive end if a really good one drops, or a defensive tackle, because as much as we all like Shamar Stephen,
interior defensive lineman would be kind of helpful right now for Minnesota.
It's true. It's
absolutely true. We'll get to your guys' comments in a second because right now we're going to give away game balls and donkeys, but good God, this team could use a nice Linval Joseph on their team. They can't stop a nosebleed, and it's rough. Oh, it's very rough.
Michael Pierce.
Mr. West gave away his game balls and donkeys already, so he gave them away in the chat on Discord. So go ahead, sir.
Game ball and donkey is going to Chad Beebe this week. Chad Beebe, we hated you, and we wanted to cut you, and then you turned around and redeemed yourself. Man, you could see, you know what? I felt bad for him on the sidelines. He missed that punt, and you can see him. He's got tears in his eyes on the sideline. He feels like
shit. Do you really blame him for being a little bit jittery after that absolute creaming of a hit that he took when he fair caught that other catch?
That was awful.
Right on.
That was a brutal, brutal hit, and that had to be in the back of his mind because he just got absolutely demolished.
Mm-hmm. But then he comes back and he scores the go-ahead score, the go-ahead touchdown in the game. What a up and down moment for him.
My game ball goes to a guy who kind of frustrated me a couple times during the game, but as a whole had a really great performance. There were a couple times Kirk Cousins threw the ball way too short of that first down marker on third down, and that got my goat a little bit. But as a whole, there's no denying what Kirk Cousins did on the field during this game, especially during that last drive where he seemed like he couldn't miss.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins deserves a little bit of, I don't want to say praise because I just love to hate on the guy, but we got to let this guy off the hook a little bit, man. He can't play defense, too. This defense sucks this year. And quietly since the bye, he has had a hell of a run.
True.
So that's a great selection. I am torn, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? I don't know where I want to go with this game ball right now. I did not pre-plan, and Kirk Cousins was my go-to. I could do the easy thing here, and I could say Justin Jefferson because he got 2 touchdowns. But he had 13 targets and he had some drops. I'm giving my game ball to BC Johnson. You know
there
why?
You go.
Because he led the team in yards, and he caught all 7 of the balls thrown his way. BC Johnson, welcome back, sir.
He had himself a game after being almost invisible the rest of this season. There were points I was wondering how he still made the roster. I mean, Tajay Sharp made the roster, and he actually played in this game. He was on the field, but he couldn't do what BC did.
I have to put this up here. Victory Monday. I need Pizza Ranch. These are good.
Old Pizza Ranch.
Scott Schwab says also, Wes, what's up with your mic? You need to be more like Adam. Calling you out, man.
Yeah, where's your little handheld mic? Come on.
I don't have it right now. I don't have it.
That's fair. Oh, man. Now we have to give away
headset that's held together with duct tape and metal.
That's long gone. That was like year 1 Purple People podcast.
Good times.
Good
times.
Rock band, Mike. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Well, now we have to give away donkeys, boys. I didn't see much of the second half. I know about the fumble from Cousins. I know about the fumble from Dalvin Cook. But I keep hearing this guy's name come up, and usually it's not for good things. I'm giving it to Chris Boyd. I don't know if he's going to be on the team next year.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't think so.
He had some really good moments in coverage during this game. Then he had a few moments that he just lost track of his receiver. And as a whole, I think he had a decent game, but not great.
Scott Schwab, that's Kyle West game ball and donkey, which I thoroughly enjoyed that you gave both of those to the same player. And it would be, I'd be remiss not to give a Dumb and Dumber reference here when they're on that little shithole moped driving through Nebraska. And it's like, and you totally redeem yourself.
He did, though. I mean, he totally did redeem himself. Yeah.
I don't know if it was in the Discord chat that we had, or maybe it was in our Purple People Pod Facebook Messenger, but did you see how hard he landed on his ass in that play?
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely feeling that today. But good on you, Chad Beebe. Way to have a game. Way to have yourself a game.
Cliff Tang went where I was going.
Chris Jones, donkey ball for life.
I don't really understand how Chris Jones isn't in the doghouse this week for that just absolutely atrocious effort that he had against Dallas. But the fact he was on the field, he struggled in coverage, just kind of highlights to me that Minnesota is that desperate at cornerback that they just have to play whoever they can, wherever they can.
We're thin, and I'm convinced that's where they're going in the draft. The cupboard is just barren at corner right now.
Well, what about this too? And I'm going to swear, guys, just because I am having a good day and it's Victory Monday and I don't care. So if you don't like swear words, particularly the bad ones, here comes one. But the Vikings are so fucked if one of these starting safeties does not play. Look how bad the corners are. You're going to have to ask one of them to shift. And do they have a backup safety on the roster right now? I don't, because that was a question before the season. I have not kept up with the roster and not with these additions and subtractions. But if Anthony Harris or Harrison Smith goes down, oof, oh God, it's going to be a bad day for the team. And they were already pretty sloppy yesterday. But I'm just thinking about that when we're talking about Chris Jones and Chris Boyd and all this patchwork we have going on in the secondary and the defense altogether.
The Vikings do have Josh Metellus available at safety as well as Curtis Riley. So they do have some depth there. The question of how much experience they have or how good they'd be if they had to step in, that's a question we don't want answered. Because I freaked out on Sunday, and I even messaged this to both Kyles, because I got a notification on my phone that Harrison Smith was out this week because he tweaked his neck. Now, Yahoo Sports is usually fairly reliable, so I messaged them, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I went to the Yahoo site and checked Harrison Smith, and there was no notification for him being injured. So that little minor freak out about Harrison Smith was definitely enough to get me really worried about this Vikings defense.
We got to think. I think we all agree Eric Kendricks is probably the best player on the team this year, not named Dalvin Cook, but not having Thielen on offense and then not having Harrison Smith on the defense. There's no way I would have picked the Vikings to win if that was for real. That was kind of weird though, because I go to Adam for everything for who's in, who's out, and you usually have it very timely, like before the announcements come out. I don't know who your sources are, but you got really good ones. And I was like, you know what? I can't believe that they would put that out there. That's really weird that Yahoo messed that up.
Yeah, this was a weird game, but at least we have our game balls and donkeys in. I do want to kind of give a little bit of an honorary game ball to DJ Wanham, because if not for him, this game would have been going into overtime. He blocked a nice field goal or extra point attempt that would have made this game a lot more competitive. And he was a disruptive force. He disrupted a pass. I believe he knocked it down at the line. He's an athletic freak, and even though he didn't get a sack in this game, you got to love what he's bringing to this defense.
We've had a lot of really good discussion going on over here in the chat. A lot of love for Eric Kendricks, which is rightfully, every single week, rightfully so on him. He is Mr. Consistency out there on defense for Minnesota. And an excellent point that I've seen a lot of people coming up. You got it on the screen right now. Special teams, I think we're looking at a complete overhaul this offseason. I think we're looking at a new special teams coach and a whole new group of personnel out there for the Vikings.
a good point here too by Cliff. As long as Kirk is winning, the more understanding content that we get. Keep winning. This was a Kirk Cousins game where you have to shout him out, and I think that's why Adam went with him for his game ball. You don't have Adam Thielen. They're doing a pretty decent job of containing Justin Jefferson. I won't say cover him up completely because he did have 2 scores, but he's got to find a way to get the team. And he had his fair share of moments too where he didn't play as well as he should have. But at the end of the game, with the game on the line, he marched the team down and he ended up with the go-ahead score. And he threw it to Chad Beebe of all the guys. I wouldn't have went there. But this was a Kirk Cousins moment where you're like, okay, now he earned his paycheck today. So
you always hear quarterbacks talk about how you got to have a short memory. And I know that was a special teams play, but to have the confidence in Chad Beebe to throw to him that he's going to make that play, he's either really confident or really dumb in Kirk Cousins to do that. Maybe a little bit of both, but it worked out.
We'll say a healthy mix of both.
Right.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this was the Teddy Bridgewater homecoming game. As you guys know, he was Mike Zimmer's quarterback. Last pick of the first round was at 2014. Yeah, I can't believe he's been in the league that long. Teddy Bridgewater was out last week when the Panthers steamrolled the Lions. And like we said earlier, had the kicker for Carolina not missed, they would have lost this game. I feel bad. I don't know how long Carolina's going to hang on to Teddy Bridgewater. It was so nice to see him warm up as the game went on. He started out really bad. His stat line was terrible to start, but he got pretty good at the end, and he had a couple of nice little runs too. So it's nice to see that he's healthy and moving around. And
although he did come up hurt,
that's true.
He was holding his shoulder there on that last play. I love Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
We all love Teddy. It was almost #too much time for Teddy. Like you said, if they had the kicker not missed. But just looking at him, you got to think that his career is probably going to be jumping around from team to team. He's good enough to compete for the starting quarterback position, but maybe you don't want to invest in him long term. That's kind of what I see happening with him in Carolina.
I think he's a good bridge quarterback. I hate to give him this title, but he's lived up to the name of game manager. He's not going to lose you a game, and he usually doesn't turn the ball over. And especially this year, and I don't know if it's Matt Rule and the Panthers, but that kid gets the ball out so damn fast, you're not going to have time to sack him. So if you're a really blitz-heavy team or, one of those kind of schemes for defensively, good luck, because it's not going to work against Teddy Bridgewater. He's going to get the ball out, and he's usually going to get it where he needs to go without turning it over. So just a big fan. I could talk about Teddy all day, but
oh yeah,
the Panthers were without Christian McCaffrey, and that didn't matter. They still had 100 yards rushing. Mike Davis was pretty effective. He had some catches as well, but overall, this Panthers team is a feisty one, man. Even though they're 4-8, they are definitely going to be a problem in years to come once they figure out the quarterback situation and if Christian McCaffrey isn't riddled with injuries. Oh, here we go. Kirk over Teddy.
I agree with that. I do think that Kirk is an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater.
I always hate having that conversation with non-Viking fans. When Case Keenum got you to the NFC Championship game, like, it wasn't Case Keenum, dude. I'm sorry that you don't understand what you're watching.
Kirk is a way better pocket quarterback with a bigger arm. Teddy is more elusive and can help your team by not taking sacks. I don't think Teddy took a sack this entire game, despite being pressured around and having to run around the field a bit.
Nope, no sacks.
So, yeah, I mean, they each have their strengths. Teddy's strength is those short to medium passes, the West Coast offense, to just continually chip the ball down the field, pick up first downs, keep the clock moving. That's what Teddy Bridgewater will give you. He's not going to give you those big plays down the field with 45, 50-yard passes, to just bomb it out to Thielen or Jefferson. That's not Teddy's game.
I think that's the biggest part, too. We saw that when he was in Minnesota. There weren't a lot of explosive plays, but if you set him up with a good run game like they have in Carolina, they can compete with just about anybody. So And Carolina's lost their fair share of heartbreak games this year, too. There have been some close ones. But going down the stat line here, Kirk Cousins, what a day. 34 of 45, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and he had a rating of 115.7. Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but you sent this in our chat. The Vikings have 5 players that are in the top 5 at their positions, right? And Kirk Cousins is one of them?
That's true. He is the number 4 quarterback right now, according to Pro Football Focus.
So we actually put this up on the Facebook page. I'm trying to find it now.
And we had someone asking us too for the link to verify that because they were a little surprised to see Kirk's name there. But Kirk's been having some absolutely great games, especially since the bye, like you said. There are a couple games already this year where he ended up with an almost perfect quarterback rating at the end of the game. And yeah, I mean, we have seen some bad things from Kirk. We've seen that earlier this season, he was throwing quite a few interceptions. And in the second half of the season here, he's having a little bit of trouble with fumbles. But you know what? As a whole, it's hard to really complain what he did.
That's right, Viking Jerome. BC Johnson got my game ball. I don't think I've ever given him a game ball. I'm not sure if any one of us have. That's really awesome.
Kyle Smith,
would you guys?
This comment is just for you.
Would you guys ever take Aaron Rodgers if you decided to do a Brett Favre? Yes, and hell yes. Absolutely. He's better than Brett Favre was, and he's on pace to play at the same level at the same level as Favre at that age or longer. And that's just because people are taking care of their bodies more, but he doesn't turn the ball over. That's why I think that he's better. His touchdown to interception ratio is the best ever, and his rating was super high until Russell Wilson came into the league. I love Aaron Rodgers. I hate that he's a Packer. If he was a Raider, I wouldn't care, and I'd
even at 40 years old for $40 million, you're down.
Well, he's only 37 now. If the rate keeps going up for a quarterback, that might actually be the going rate. If he's still playing like he is right now in 2020, in 2 years, I'd take him. Why not? And I'll tell you what, I have to go on this tangent here. This is the thing about quarterbacks, and for the Vikings, they've lacked since Favre and Culpepper and all the big names that have played, like the big name Viking quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins will get up, he'll read a defense, and he'll try to find the best match, right? But Aaron Rodgers is such an orchestrator of everything. He can call people off sides and get the defense to jump off. He will athletically, he can still get the ball kind of like Patrick Mahomes wants to, anywhere he wants on the field. He's way more accurate. He's got a rocket arm. He's just smarter, and he can pretty much do anything. He's just a major upgrade in all those categories. But do you do a 1 year? Do you do a 2? I don't think, in my personal opinion, he would ever come to Minnesota anyways. But
Smith, he told if Green Bay, he 100% would come to Minnesota to stick it to Green Bay. If he had that opportunity, he's going to do it. He learned from Brett Favre. Come on. Smith, like you and I were joking, we're going to get Tom Brady next year.
Hey, Kyle said it today in the group chat. Because there's a lot of tension down in Tampa Bay right now because they're not doing a lot of the winning recently. Cliff Tang, would you take Brady now? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I don't think he can't play quarterback. This offensive line would get him fucking murdered. So, no. I like the younger guy who can move and take a sack without breaking his shoulder or collarbone.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is definitely the player that you would want over those two right now.
Mm-hmm. Going back to what we said before, we'll read some more.
Literally anyone right now.
Not their wide receiver. Not their
Didn't
wide receiver.
Didn't they just sign like their offensive coordinator's kid?
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they signed some coach's kid, and I guess he might play next week.
I know the literally one of the coaches was trying to get the NFL to let them play for a game.
Yeah,
true.
They know the system, which is not a terrible idea, but it's just, oh God, Denver. Back to what Kyle was saying, and I think Adam brought it up as well. 5 Minnesota Viking players ranked within the top 5 at their respective positions. 2 wide receivers.
5 times.
two wide receivers, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Dalvin Cook, obviously, Eric Kendricks, and Kirk Cousins. What a turnaround from a year ago, because if you flipped it around last year or the year before, it would have been all defensive players and then maybe Dalvin Cook, and now it's all offensive players and Eric Kendricks. That's a weird turnaround there, but that's cool. I really like that.
It is nice to see, and usually the Vikings defense has more players that are among the top. Last 2 seasons have seen Anthony Harris in the top 5 regularly for safeties, and it's a bit strange not to see Harrison Smith in there. But otherwise, it's pretty much as expected. Without Danielle Hunter, without Anthony Barr, all the big name defenders are mostly on the shelf. Poor guys.
Guys, I just had a breakthrough. I'm messing around here. I'm sorry. This is going to be really sloppy for you guys listening on the podcast or leaving it now. We are now live on Facebook and Twitch. You have to do that at the start of the show.
Are we?
Bear with us. Yes, we are. I just added it in there. So now we're going to get a lot of new comments. Can they
there it is.
Percy
You're
Harvin
live.
back?
Interesting.
Can they bring Percy Harvin back? I'm not sure Mike Zimmer would like getting weights thrown at him, and he might actually try to fight him.
I don't know. Remember in the off season, Percy was working out, running up. What was he running up? Driveway or something?
Yeah, we had rumblings that he was interested in making a little comeback.
I don't know.
If
I
Antonio
do see
Brown
us live
play.
on Twitch now.
Nice.
Are we playing him strictly on special teams? Like Percy Harvin, this is your whole role. Go back there and catch kickoffs.
You can be a Jarius Wright. You can do kickoffs, and you can be our wide receiver 3.
You can make a team just on special teams alone, like Dan Chisna or whatever his name is.
Chisna. That's
Danny
funny.
Chestnut. I don't know.
Danny Chestnut roasting on an open fire
Danny
because
Chestnut.
it's going to be December tomorrow. Can't believe it's already going to be December of this year.
No,
That's
no
crazy.
Marcus Sherrill's Cliff.
Marcus Sherrills was a great special teams ace for a long time.
Hey, he could play corner for us right now. We need one.
And we've had special teams aces play extremely well for Minnesota and then move to other teams and see their special teams do extremely well as well. So, yeah. Well, I wasn't talking about him. Mostly I was talking about Kyle. Who was that linebacker? That was
He's Farwell. Is that what
yeah.
you're talking about? Yeah.
I don't think it was, but he's a good example.
What other linebacker? Well, Ben Lieber.
Ben Lieber didn't really play special teams, did he?
Yeah, a little bit.
John Young says, how old is Devin Hester? Well, he's already in the Hall of Fame, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to tarnish his legacy by making a comeback.
Maybe he'll take up boxing and be a part of the next
I was just going to say that.
Tyson pay-per-view.
I'm not even mad about that. I'm mad that this Logan Paul guy is getting all this fame for knocking out an NBA player. What is 2020? Why are we doing this?
It's the
Why is
weirdest
that guy on
possible
there?
simulation.
Maybe it'll be Ray Edwards next time. You never know.
Oh God.
God. All the
Forgot about
references
Ray
today.
Edwards.
I watched a couple of his boxing fights. He wasn't too bad.
Here's the
He's
take
like
of the
someone
day.
like half his size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Viking Jerome says KJ Osborne is a disappointment so far.
I was so
truer
excited about
words.
him coming to Minnesota to be the return man.
No true.
I thought that he was
words
going to be
spoken.
really good at what he was doing, provide some shiftiness on offense too when given opportunities. And instead, he got made inactive last week as a punishment. And we also saw for the second week in a row, the Vikings go with a new long snapper because Austin Cutting is apparently in the doghouse.
As he should be. But I have
And
questions
let's be
for
a little
everyone.
honest too, that new long snapper, he's not making mistakes.
Not at all.
And the Vikings used a draft pick on Austin Cutting. A draft pick on a long snapper. You don't see
Yeah,
that
but-
too often.
That was the year
They
that we
also-
had like 20 draft picks. So
That's we also like to do that with kickers and then get rid of them shortly after. So that's fun. Hey, I
keep
like this
watching the
comment
chat
up
and
for this.
keep waiting to hope to see a little logo of someone else chatting from a different thing. But no,
someone
nothing.
From Facebook, you have to be out there. Let us know. We want to know.
I'm actually clicking on the link up top. It says you are live, edit, remove, or view on Facebook. I don't want to view any of those.
There we go.
Hey,
Oh, nice.
Figured I'd send
super
one.
cool. I was trying to jump in and say this here. We kept interrupting each other, Adam. KJ Osborne is a disappointment so far. This is his first year with the team. The whole special team sucks this year. Can we just say maybe it's not just because he's a disappointment because he's terrible. Maybe it's because the special teams coach is terrible and the special teams altogether needs a lot of work.
Well, I do think they will have a new special teams coach.
Hey, we do have Facebook there. Mark Anderson. Hello from Orlando.
That's
Hey,
cool.
Mark.
What's up, Mark? Thanks for tuning in. You're our first comment from Facebook ever, so that's cool.
Yeah, we now stream to all 3 locations, which is scary, fun, and interesting.
John Young
Mark
says the
is
Raiders
now in
would
the
pick up
Purple
lots of
People
cutting.
Podcast Hall of Fame.
The Raiders would pick up cutting. Yeah, they will, and he'll be good. He'll be great for them.
You think the Vikings will cutting? Is that what we're anticipating here?
If this long snapper keeps doing his job, probably.
DePaulo. I like that name.
Isn't he hurt?
I don't think he's hurt
Only his ego.
because he hasn't been showing up on the injury report. He's only been part of the inactives.
Scott Schwab makes a good point. So now the Jags come to Minnesota. Remember when they played well against the Packers, but they only have 1 win. So what's the deal with Gardner Minshew? Is he injured, or are they just not playing him because they hate him? Because I got to think
aren't fans.
But you're a fan
But
of.
they're also saying that he has an injured thumb. And it did post up to you one day that he did have a thumb issue. So they are using that thumb issue because he's played through it. And maybe they just don't want to have it get any worse or whatever. But you know what they really want.
Jags are.
They want that draft pick.
They're cleaning house.
This is a lot of fun. Joining, cutting in the doghouse. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Vikings fan base does love BB. And when he messed up, man, people turned real quick. And I'm glad that he got a chance to redeem himself because otherwise I wouldn't want his story for that game to end the way it did. I thought the game was over after that muffed return. I did. I thought that was it.
Yeah, I really thought so too.
If you guys ever join in the Discord chat, you'll see I am always the doom and gloom. We're losing every game person every single week. So when I left it at halftime, I was like, well, this is not going to end well. This is a sloppy game. And once I heard about the Cousins strip return and then Cook, I was like, here it goes. It's happening again. But every so often the Vikings get a gift. Well, this is good, though. Before we read some stats and get that out of the way, this does bode well for Minnesota now. As Kyle mentioned earlier, their chances for making the postseason go up to almost 30% now. And the good part about that is we were above Carolina in the hunt, and we were right below Chicago. But Chicago got the brakes beat off of them last night by the Packers. So we should have the same number of wins, and I think they have one more loss than we do. Maybe it's the same. I'll have to check the record, but that's good.
And the Vikings own the head-to-head win, so Minnesota should be second in the NFC North right now.
Correct.
As far as I know.
Here's my hot take. They beat Chicago. That would be a lot of fun. Scott Schwab says he's talking, of course, about Matt Patricia being fired and their GM as well.
Yes.
Yeah, they had a horrible run together in Detroit. So, yeah.
Hey, Jonathan Stark's here from Facebook.
More Facebook here. I missed the game.
He's from the land of cheese.
Nice. What's up, Jonathan?
Representing Minnesota out there in enemy territory.
That's right.
This is great. I love Cliff Tang. Your commentary is my favorite, dude. I was yelling at my screen to cut him. I felt so dumb when he caught that pass.
All Vikings Twitter was right there with you. They were irate. Between the people mad at Kirk Cousins for not throwing more touchdowns and the people that were mad at the secondary. And I'm a little upset about that weird play where they dropped the defensive end back into coverage against a wide receiver. I'm still not a fan of that, but what can you do, right?
John Young, did you know Chad Beebe's father played in the NFL? Scott Shaw says, did you know Adam Thielen was a local undrafted free agent?
It's the stories that you hear every time. And if I have to hear Jonathan Vilma one more time on commentary, I thought I didn't like Troy Aikman. And now I learned that there's worse out there.
You know what? I'm taking my
Okay.
donkey back. Thank you, Adam. Chris Boyd, you are safe this week. Jonathan Vilma, get the hell off my screen on Sundays. That's 2 weeks in a row. Ugh.
This week's game will be on NBC, though, so we get to avoid Mr. Vilma.
Nice.
Thank God. But honestly, we know that Chad Beebe, his father Don, played in the NFL. Does anyone under the age of 65 actually give a shit about Don Beebe?
I don't know, but I saw that Baby's Kids is on one of the streaming channels, so I may have to check that out.
$500 scholarship. This is incredible. I love you guys. All right, let's read some stats from this game, and we can end the Panthers.
I see one of us tested out our Facebook streaming for messaging as well.
I've seen this on people's Facebook lives before because they do a lot of the gaming. I don't know what that new game's called, but I see a lot of it. And we also have closed captioning on there, which is really funny and trippy to look down and see your words being typed on the screen.
That is very strange.
I like it, though.
A sponsor for that. Who wants to sponsor our closed captioning, even though it's...
You know who would love to? I would love to get Sundrop from my hometown on here. It's the best soda ever. And if you guys would please sponsor us, that'd be awesome.
Actually, what I would like you guys to do is, if you get a chance, head on over to twitch.tv/purplepeoplepodcast and hit that follow button, because that would be pretty amazing to start building a little bit of a fan base here on Twitch so that other people can find us. We are in the talk shows and podcasts category over there on Twitch. So we should be pretty easy to find if you type in Minnesota Vikings.
Follow us on YouTube and Facebook while you are at it.
Scott Schwab, you're the MVP, sir. I looked up the cast on Facebook, so I shared it there. Thanks, dude.
Hopefully that's more convenient for some people, because we wanted to be able to have it available for anyone wherever that they wanted to get their media. I know not everyone is on Facebook. I know a lot of people that stay off YouTube because it's a cesspool of content at times. But yeah, I mean, we've got options here for a lot of people now. And honestly, I'm a Twitch person. I watch a lot of Twitch. So having it available for me there on Twitch is something that could be a lot of fun for me. And we do have it set too. It will store the podcast on Twitch for 14 days. So if you're a little late watching the podcast and you don't want to go on YouTube, you can watch a replay here on Twitch.
This is great. Before y'all get big, I just want to be known this is original. Yeah, you were, and you always will be, John. This is cool, like Adam's saying, just to kind of go off subject for a little bit. We'll stop game coverage and talk about the Jags in a minute, but we are well aware there are a lot of bigger Viking shows out there. There's a ton of, you can find each one. I listen to quite a few of them myself, but
big, well-produced, well-funded.
Very, very sponsored, and they put out a lot more videos and content than we do. We pride ourselves on doing longer shows, but less shows, and being year-round no matter what. But this is really cool because we're getting more interaction in this little feature that we added on today. So big fan of this. We'll do a lot more promoting. And then you can get it from, some of you guys don't like YouTube, you can do it on Facebook, which we are already seeing some input there. I'm an OG as well. Yes.
Yeah, I miss Dorian too. I wish we had him here with us. But for some reason, his phone and his technology just does not work with what we're trying to do. And I wish we could have him here with us, but
that's all good. We love you, Dorian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of money, I made $1,000 on my wheat stock today.
Boom.
Oh, man. This comment section is always entertaining. We'll finish out the stuff for the stats here. Dalvin Cook had an average day. No touchdown, 61 yards, average 3.4. Kirk Cousins
I believe
actually
he's
got
about 100
down.
yards now behind Derrick Henry for the rushing title.
Yeah, that's a grown-ass man over there in Tennessee. Man, they put a thumping on the Colts yesterday. Kirk Cousins
and the Colts are one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. Most complete, anyway. And they got absolutely just manhandled.
Minus that old dinosaur they have at quarterback. Yeah, they are.
I'm not a fan of their quarterback either, but
hashtag
have a perfect
not a
roster.
Hall of Famer.
Oh, he'll go. on.
Rushing stats here. Kirk Cousins had a first down yesterday where I wanted to literally bite his head off. Slide.
He did the ponder head first slide.
Stop it, motherfucker, slide. We cannot have Sean Mannion finishing out this season. Stop it. You are too expensive. Oh, this is
I
weird.
do think John Young on YouTube says when Ezra gets back, do you think the rush game will improve? And I think it definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota has just going through too much depth on their offensive line, and Ezra Cleveland was playing quite well before he ended up on the shelf for a couple weeks. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy about that. Brett Jones, he's came in, he's done a decent job. I've seen his name among some of the better performers on the Vikings offense over the last couple weeks, and it's pretty good.
Kirk Cousins knock out Nate Robinson. Yeah, probably with his boring speech and dad jokes and no swear words. Knock him out with a bunch of fricks. Frick. Yeah, with kindness. There it is.
and Pizza Ranch.
Pizza Ranch, yes.
And Pizza Ranch.
Knock him out with all that pizza. To be fair, Pizza Ranch fried chicken is pretty delicious. That crispy chicken, oh, that's good stuff. But the pizza, disappointing, and don't get me started on that gravy.
I can't do it. I'm going there. As soon as I make my way to Minnesota for a game, I'm going to Pizza Ranch. It's happening. So this is weird. I'm looking at the receiving stats from yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers had 7 receptions. That's crazy. BC Johnson led the way, 7 for 74. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 70 and 2 touchdowns. Chad Beebe, 7 for 63 and a touchdown. That's weird.
You look at those statistics, and that does not look like a Mike Zimmer-led Minnesota Vikings football game. Delvin Cook, 18 carries. What'd they have, like just a 20-some carries total in the game?
24 carries for 96 yards.
24 carries, 45 passes. That's not a balance of a Mike Zimmer defense, right? Or Mike Zimmer offense right there.
Nope. I don't see how Justin Jefferson doesn't get Rookie of the Year.
Quarterback bias.
Justin Herbert is bawling his ass off over there in Los Angeles.
It's all quarterback bias. Vikings fans can have a lot of disappointment when it happens, but if you're a quarterback, your chances of winning awards is going to be much, much, much higher.
Also, we say this a lot, but if Justin Jefferson was in a bigger market on a bigger team, that would definitely help his odds of winning.
Oh, Justin Jefferson's going to have more receiving yards this season than Moss in his rookie year. It's going to happen.
I don't care what he does. As long as he keeps doing that gritty dance, I am with it, man. That is my new favorite thing. Can
you imagine if Justin Jefferson was starting at the beginning of the year?
He would have already been over 1,000 yards. Yeah, for sure.
Instead, we got that BC attack. Good old BC.
Have a nice life.
All right, we have to read this out for everybody that's not watching live. Cliff Tang says, Kirk lives close to my hometown in Michigan. My buddy told me he ran into him at a pizza shop, and at the end of their conversation, he told my friend to, quote, have a nice life, end quote. That is so Kirk Cousins.
Not just a nice day, not just a nice week. He wants you to have a nice entire life. So, yeah, that's Kirk for you.
He is the whitest human in history.
I like that.
He's the whitest human ever. That's why I call him Captain Caucasian. He's the nicest, whitest guy ever. That's so funny. He said he will continue to do it until Madden makes his end zone dance. I'm down with that. That's awesome.
I do like that too. That's good.
Minnesota fumbles yesterday. There were 3 of them, and they were all lost. Kirk Cousins, Chad Beebe, and Dalvin Cook, which we talked about. Defensive stats. Here we go. This is what I was talking about earlier, and I scrolled up and scrolled back down. I'm glad that I gave it to BC Johnson, but once again, if it wasn't going to him, I was going to give it to Eric Hendricks. 12 tackles, 2 for a loss, a pass defended.
Did you know that the Panthers went to the red zone 3 times in this game and came up empty all 3 times? No touchdowns.
That's insane.
It's a testament to this Vikings defense. They might be young and inexperienced in a lot of places, but their bend, don't break mentality when they get near that goal line is so good.
Eric Kendricks also had an interception yesterday. That's 3 games in a row. I think he had 4 in his career up until yesterday. Not yesterday. He had 4 in his career in the years prior, and he's had 3 in 3 games in a row in this season alone. So that dude is balling out this year. Have to give him credit where credit's due. Anthony Harris was right behind him with 11. Eric Wilson and Jeff Gladney going down the list here of defensive tackles stats.
Arm asleep from keeping cat.
Here's a great stat right here. Punt returns. Chad Beebe, 2 of them, no yards.
Is that better than what KJ Osborne would have done? We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. That's all right, dude. You caught the game-winning touchdown. You relish in that for a day. You have that.
If he doesn't bobble that on special teams, does he not catch the touchdown? Was that motivation for him to prove himself? We'll never know.
True.
I'm still shocked the defense was able to get that ball back to them.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota had been having some issues tackling on that day, and Mike Davis, such a big running back, he's hard to bring down with one man, and we saw some arm tackles that just got absolutely laughed off and shrugged off, and it was quite an achievement to be able to get the ball back in Kirk Cousins' hands during that game, and whew, boy, did he ever.
I'm looking at what Adam was saying earlier with the head-to-head battle and win against Chicago. The Vikings are now in second in the NFC North. They were in last place not that long ago.
No, it's true.
Now they're in second, which is crazy at 5-6. Bears are 5-6 as well, but they won the head-to-head. Finishing out the stats from yesterday, Dan Bailey was perfect on the day, 2 for 2 for field goals and 2 for 2 extra points. And Britton Colquitt punted 3 times for 153 yards. Thank you, Dan Bailey, for not missing kicks.
It's true.
Vikings have 13 total punt return yards all season. Woof. Ugh.
Yeah, that's an area they're going to be trying to improve upon.
I'm happy with fair catches. I'm happy with letting the ball bounce out of the back of the end zone. I'm fine with all that. I'm still team touchback in most ways.
If you don't have Cordero Patterson back there, or maybe like Tyreek Hill returning punts and kicks, just take the touchback. Good God.
True.
All right, so somebody brought this up earlier. We have to talk about it because it's one of those times where it could be another trap game like the Cowboys. The Vikings should be sitting at 6-5, not 5-6, but they dropped the game to Dallas. The Jacksonville Jaguars have only won 1 game this year. I'm trying to remember which one that was that they won. Let's scroll up here.
Oh, the Jaguars, which game they won? They beat Indy, yeah.
They beat
very beginning of the season.
1. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I got a strike in my fantasy, in the fantasy.
So did my friend Clint, and he was mad.
Ugh. So I'm looking here. Let's just talk about the Jaguars. We're going to fast forward to this game Sunday. 30-33 against the Titans. That's a close game. 25-33 for the Bengals. That's a 1 score. 29-39 for the Chargers. So 10 points there. 27-25 against the Texans. That's 2. Only lost by 4 points in Lambeau to the Packers. And yesterday they lost by 2 points to the Browns. If you guys think that we're just going to go in and this is an automatic win, this is not the team to overlook. The Vikings have to finish strong, and the Jaguars are going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to go ahead and predict that and say it now. But if they can win against the Panthers and the Jaguars, they will sit evenly at 500 going to face Tampa Bay, and that is a good thing.
I am looking forward to that Tampa game, but I don't want to look too far past Jacksonville because they can have some good days in Jacksonville, and they can push some good teams to the limits.
I think that if Adam Thielen comes back, it'll be a great day for the team. I don't want to see them have to go and have Justin Jefferson and then the rest of the field with the drop-off being as big as it is, but we'll see.
Adam Thielen looked pretty good at home and very happy, so hopefully he's feeling pretty good and we'll be able to return soon.
Mark Anderson says he will be at the Tampa game. Cool, man. if you get some photos, shoot us a message on Facebook. We'll get it in the app and we'll share it on your behalf. We'll give you credit for it and all that stuff. We might even show it up here on the show. Yeah, definitely take some photos and shoot them our way. That's cool, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this will be the Vikings' third home game in a row. They're going to face the Jaguars. They should be favored. The Jaguars are eliminated mathematically from the playoffs. Second team of the NFL season in 2020 to do so, right behind the Jets. They are not a good football team. I think Mike Glennon will be their starter, which is embarrassing. But somehow they are a very pesky fighting team. So we'll keep you up to date on that. I like the way Cousins threw the ball. Different receivers had Panthers guessing. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, Adam Thielen usually gets a majority of the targets during games, so it was interesting to see how that was going to be distributed. And I think 13 passes went towards Jefferson, and then like 7 to BC, and so yeah, they were still distributed pretty evenly. Just kind of fun to see everything else going on there.
Well, what's up with the Survival League, Adam?
I don't believe we had any eliminations or strikes handed out this week. So every manager is still available. So get your picks in because it's still anybody's game.
That's good. You guys,
and I don't know how the picks are going to work with games running through till Wednesday now. But we don't have a game for Thursday Night Football. So I'm assuming Thursday will be the day to start getting your picks in for the games on Sunday. But this is a weird week of football, so be sure to keep close attention to the app because who knows when what's going to happen.
Those pesky Baltimore Ravens just changing up the NFL schedule going on from here around. Adam and I were talking about that in the chat earlier. I was kind of hoping that game would get canceled. That means 8 teams would get into the playoffs, and I'm all about anarchy in the playoffs. I'm all about those New York Giants being the wild card and winning the Super Bowl. So
it'd be interesting seeing 4 wild cards make it into the playoffs, but I'd be all for it, especially if it helps the Minnesota Vikings have a chance at getting a spot.
Yeah, it does. Because you saw it last year, right? The Vikings were firmly entrenched into that 6th seed, the very last spot. They weren't going to win the NFC North, so they were going to have to be a wild card. And they show up and they ruin New Orleans' year. I mean, I feel like there's always one wild card game.
I'm glad you went with that instead of the Week 17 against the Bears story because that was atrocious.
Well, I thought about another wild card weekend not too long ago in Vikings Pass where they lost on a botched field goal, and I didn't want to bring that one up either. Ugh, 10-9 too. What a terrible game that was. But yeah, I'm all for anarchy in the playoffs. Let's get every team in there to see what happens.
Why not?
So that's an update on Survival League. I guess we're going to wind the show down and let's do some promotions, man. This is a promotion episode anyways. We're not sponsored, but like we've said many times, and we'll push it one more time, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, as always, and Twitch now. Thanks to StreamYard, we have upgraded the account, and we're going to start pushing a lot more stuff out that way. So this is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see some new faces come through, especially on Facebook. If you guys feel up to it, please share us on Facebook. Let people know we're out there. Come on in, hang out, chat with us, because this is kind of fun. And I'm glad Mr. Smith was able to hook this up and let us see if we can expand our audience a little bit. We're still going to be available on all forms of podcast places, on Spotify, Podomatic, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. We'll still be in all those places, but now you'll be able to hang out with us live in more locations, which is what I think is a lot of fun.
Yes, definitely awesome to expand everything. So thank you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks to the people on Facebook, Mark Anderson. I know we had somebody else chime in from Facebook as well. Man, this is such a cool thing that we have going on. So this is exciting for the channel.
And next week we're going to look a little fancier too. So keep an eye out for that.
No spoilers. You have to come back to find that out.
I'm going to wear a tuxedo. And that'll be the day the new boss comes in.
Oh, let's pray this is the 2003 season. Ugh.
Yeah. Been some rough ones. Been some absolute rough ones. But yeah, on that note, I do want to remind everyone that joining us live, hanging out, commenting, sharing, liking, all that kind of stuff does help us a lot. And if you can, we do appreciate it. joining us in conversations over on Facebook. We do post some stuff over there every once in a while, and it's nice to see some interaction. So we do appreciate that as well. We got Mr. Kyle West here that's got something he wants to plug.
Photography. You can check out all my awesome photography work using the link down below on your screen. We also have Purple People Podcast merchandise. Should you choose to support the show, you can get it on t-shirts and hats and mouse pads and shower curtains and all kinds of fun stuff for you to check out.
Don't forget coffee mugs. A Purple People Podcast coffee mug is a great gift because I know I love my coffee, and it probably tastes better out of a Purple People Podcast coffee mug.
I think so too. Why does Adobe Flash want to update right now?
How about
no? Remind me.
You can always want to better yourself, even if you're Adobe Flash. Meanwhile, you can catch up some of my work over on the Viking Age. I'll have my MVPs article up soon. My MVPs from the game on Sunday, and I'll have an update on Minnesota Vikings power rankings, and it will be interesting to see what happens with the NFL power rankings. What happens with Minnesota after that nail biter of a win this week? So I don't anticipate them rising up too much, but maybe a little. Who knows? It's possible. I also do have some stuff over on undeadwalking.com or the Undead Walking app. There's also a Viking Age app if you want to download that. You can get some great content about your favorite zombie shows with The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Walking Dead World Beyond. Right now, it's break. All of your favorite Viking or zombie shows are on break until the end of, or until Fear the Walking Dead returns. So for now, it's just a lot of content about speculation, analysis, and a lot of fun. And I've got my cat doing something I don't like here. So I'm going to pull him out of there. I don't like him under there. And finally, thanks again to everyone for listening and stopping by.